Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the YouTube account and we're going to be looking at the letter to Don or letter from Don and seeing the recap of 2024 and what the plans are going into 2025. I know there's been a lot of questions when it comes to AFK Arena, when it comes to companions, what exactly is it going to look like? How's it going to look in the future? And what do we have to look forward to in the classic version of AFK Arena versus going into the companions version, which I know a lot of people absolutely love. It is a very basic version of AFK Arena, very streamlined with the heroes that we have in there. And also the companions version, a lot of players really do not like at all. So let's hop over and see what he kind of covers in this message. So right here is the thanks for the companionship for all of our adventures from the producer Don. Now we have shared this every single year. This is over on Facebook. They posted it this morning. There's also a new code in here, and there is actually two different variations of the code. One, I believe, was Don 2025 companions, and one was Don 2025 classic. I'm going to post those down below so you do have those, but let's take a look and really break this down. So greeting adventures, time flies. Can't believe it is already 2024 is done. I admit we haven't done a good enough job. Now I can agree with that. There are some really big misses that we have seen overall with AFK Arena, but there are also a lot of incredible things that we've seen. The gameplay, what they've added in here has really made a big difference, including concerns about the slower pace of movement to collections and the delay of the campaign stage modes. Again, that is something with such a very large player base, they need to get their hands around. They really do need to wrap everything around it and also get the thoughts and really share with us what is going on. Right now at this point, even being a content creator, it's kind of been a question mark with what the intentions were with companions. Is it going to replace AFK Arena? What is it going to look like in the future? And a lot of those are addressed in here. Let's look at the Draconic heroes. This, of course, is my number one biggest sticking point. It being too expensive to upgrade, which means they talked about this in the last designer face-to-face, continuing to make it easier. For example, more Draconic resources from new Draconic heroes. Other events release more affordable bundles, which again, the cost to if you are pay to win with in AFK Arena, the cost of them are super expensive, and allow Draconic heroes to be more useful at lower tiers. We see this with Lan, and really that's the only hero that we see it with that does work even at a little bit of a lower tier, but doesn't work optimally. We hope that these changes your experience upgrade Draconic heroes will be improved. Definitely needs to be with the availability to get them. Now, collections. This again is the other really big sticking point when it comes to AFK Arena. We have heard your complaint loud and clear. There are going to be some improvements in January and February of 2025. These include the ability to explore buff that will allow skill level abilities gained from farewell gift totems to not take up a number of guaranteed mythic abilities. That is going to allow us to have a lot more mythic abilities that are on these totems, which is going to make a big difference, honestly. Improving the event trigger conditions and the ability drop rates for exploration so that useless combination events are no longer triggered when you obtain 3 abilities of the same tier, which I love. This is going to streamline the ability to make the collections overall, significantly reducing the chance of randomly obtained common and rare abilities from the upper floors, which it should be. All of these changes should improve your exploration experience. So if you're unfamiliar with collections and also the collection management, this is something, again, when you start going through multiple game modes, the collections do not stay equipped or do not equip properly, which of course can cause confusion, and of course managing different collections in different game modes. That again is a huge sticking point for players within AFK Arena, including myself, having the collections, knowing what heroes to put the collections on, but also being able to build the collections on there. Now, players have expressed the classic server was a lack of content, feel like we're not invested enough in it. I'd like to clarify, classic server has always been and will be the top priority. That's right, it is not a huge focus within companions. The classic server is going to be the top priority. We'll continue to progress on the campaign stages, revamping the special feature several times already. Doing so, we attempt to avoid repeating the mistakes of the collection system, which of course was a big debacle, and in order to bring more fresh and fun experiences, which will be eventually launched. On the front, ask for patience as they're going through it. In addition, we'd also gradually port back from the companion server some features and content that players found enjoyable. So for me, in companions, one of the big reasons why we're in there and I love playing it is the guild aspect in it is huge within companions. Competitive matchmaking mode, the PvP in there, Spire Clash, guild activity mode, and of course the bosses. When it comes to the companion server, the bosses in there do incredibly well. Even if they incorporated some of the Spire Clash, a couple of the different events, even the co-op, the co-op aspect in there is really cool to see within companions. And again, there are a lot of ways that they could kind of backfill it into the classic version, which would make a really big difference when it comes to the game itself. While we're on the topic of the classic server, I'd like to clarify some misunderstandings. Never intended to abandon the classic server. Now, again, that was a question which focusing completely on the companion server. They are not leaving the classic server. AFK has been online for 5 years, going on 6 years in April. Consistently, each and every one of our players precious, greatly saddened and poor design decisions lead to the loss of players. For this reason, we'd use the Fresh Soil of Companion server as a testing ground, trying out bolder, more variety of content, then bringing only the best to the classic server. That's exactly what I feel the companion server should be in its entirety. It should almost be like a test server where a lot of players are going to test out a lot of content. If the content really resonates and really sticks with players, they should bring that back to the classic server. Now, again, for me, I've been preaching and really talking about this for about 4 years now, is the ability and really the methodology behind strengthening the guild and the guild functionality. If you give guilds the ability to do things together, similar to the Abyssal Expedition, it is going to be a game changer, and they really need to do the collaboration and the building of the mentality and really the friendship, the camaraderie between guilds themselves. So more social players who prefer that type of content over the classic server. In 2025, they'll be adding new players and new servers on both classic and companions. We aim to communicate the difference in features so that players can choose the server that best fits their presence or their preference. After the companion server was launched at the end of the year, we were overjoyed to see new players that are venturing there, which again, I like the companion server. I feel like it's interesting. Some veteran players decide to check it out, and I definitely like some of the content in there. It seems like at this point it's getting a little bit stale. There's not a lot of variation. There's not a lot of changes in there. But regarding some of the critical feedback on the team experience, we look to continue to make steady improvements, including removing the chapter restrictions on team making, which they did in this patch right now. D2 and I just went ahead and got our co-op in there, which is awesome. So gonna add new team modes in there and more. They're also considering adding new team features to existing modes like Arena of Heroes and Realm gameplay, which of course is going to change moving forward, will contribute to explore more social features on the companion server and release more content, which is fun and relaxing overall. Finally, I'd like to emphasize on both classic and companions, we are seeing the Overlord crossover event, which I absolutely love. We'll synchronize across both servers. It really makes a big difference. To close on this, I'd like to extend my wishes. And of course, at last, there's a gift code as usual, which the gift code does follow. I will put that down below. But guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.